The Galactic Council met in absolute silence, their chambers filled with representatives from over 200 alien civilizations, each more advanced than the last or so they believed. The room floated at the edge of a dying star, where no signal could escape without permission, and here the fate of Earth would be decided. At the center, Chancellor Virus of the Varn Dominion rose, her translucent skin glowing with emotion. "We must act now," she declared, "before Earth becomes unstoppable." A murmur passed through the hall. The humans had not joined the council when invited. Instead, they chose silence. They expanded quietly, colonized distant systems without asking, and avoided contact even when approached. To the council, this was arrogance. Earth's refusal to bow was seen as rebellion. Reports from border scouts had shown something worse: human ships that moved faster than expected, defenses that triggered before scans could finish, colonies built deep underground or hidden within asteroid belts. They were ghosts in space. Council spies sent to observe Earth had all vanished, leaving only vague signals and corrupted data behind. No one had ever returned with solid proof of Earth's full strength, but the Council believed they had seen enough. "They're unpredictable," another representative said, her voice sharp like blades, "and that makes them dangerous." After long debate, a vote was cast. War was declared. A united fleet, one of the largest ever assembled, would be sent to Earth's solar system to demand surrender or wipe the planet out. Across the stars, this message echoed in every language: Earth has defied the Council. The balance must be restored. Billions of citizens across the galaxy celebrated. After all, how could one small blue planet survive against the might of the galaxy's finest? Earth had no official allies, no known power matching the Council, no presence in galactic politics. It would be an easy conquest. But while the galaxy cheered, Earth remained quiet. In an underground facility buried deep beneath Antarctica's ice, leaders of Earth's Shadow Command watched the Council's transmission in silence. The room was dim, cold, and silent, just like the decision that had been made long ago. A gray-haired general leaned forward and tapped the display, freezing the message mid-sentence. "They finally did it," he said with a calm tone, as if reading the weather. A woman beside him, a civilian scientist with sharp eyes and a soft voice, nodded slowly. "Then we proceed," she said simply. Around them, lights flickered on. Panels lit up. Hidden networks that hadn't been touched in years came alive. Signals were sent, but no one outside Earth noticed. On Mars, a series of artificial canyons shimmered and vanished, revealing massive defense stations. On Europa, under its icy crust, dormant machines awoke. Deep in space, satellites turned slowly, aligning with precision. And on Earth itself, civilians continued their daily lives, unaware of the storm brewing in orbit. The Council's war declaration had not shaken Earth. It had confirmed what Earth's hidden leaders had prepared for all along. Humanity had studied the stars in silence, not out of fear, but out of patience. They had watched the Council for decades. They had listened, learned, and understood the nature of galactic power. Earth never responded to the Council's invitation, not because it couldn't, but because it chose not to. It had seen what happened to species who joined and lost their freedom. It had seen alliances that crumbled in crisis. So instead, Earth prepared. It built quietly. It tested weapons in voids, where no one was watching. It sent probes that cloaked themselves in nothingness. It trained people not to fight but to vanish and strike when needed. Earth had no seat in the Council, but it had eyes in their chambers. The Council thought they declared war on a proud, loud, reckless species. But they declared war on a world that had already seen this future and laughed quietly behind closed doors. As Earth's leaders gave no public response, the galaxy waited for fear, panic, or surrender. But none came. There were no desperate pleas, no broadcasts, no angry speeches. Only silence. And that silence was louder than any war cry. The human general, now standing alone in the command room, looked out at the frozen wasteland beyond the glass wall. "They're coming," he said softly, almost to himself. "Let them come." Far above, Invisible to all but a few, a vast human warship drifted beyond the edge of Pluto's orbit. It had no name, no registry, and no flag. It had waited there for years, unmoving, watching. Now it turned slowly, warming its engines for the first time. Earth did not roar. Earth did not scream. Earth simply watched and smiled in silence. The great fleet of the Galactic Council moved silently through the vast emptiness of space, their ships sleek and armed with weapons powerful enough to erase entire planets. For decades, the Council had prepared for this moment, confident that Earth, the small blue world that had refused their orders and ignored their threats, would soon fall beneath their might. As the warships closed in on Earth's solar system, the commanders of the fleet exchanged victorious glances. They expected to see panic, to hear cries for help, to watch the humans surrender and beg for mercy. Instead, all they found was silence. The Council's ships entered Earth's orbit, their hulls gleaming under the light of the sun, and broadcast a message in the ancient universal language, a final warning demanding Earth's immediate surrender. But on Earth, the command center remained calm, the large screen showing the message untouched by fear. Deep underground, far from the eyes of ordinary people, Earth's leaders gathered around a glowing map of the solar system. A general, young, but with eyes hardened by years of training, watched the message without flinching. "No response," he said quietly, "just as we expected." Outside the command center, automated defense systems activated. Satellites long dormant suddenly hummed with power, their weapons systems locking onto the alien fleet. Unseen by the Council's eyes, a network of hidden platforms rose from beneath the oceans, their energy weapons ready to strike. Suddenly, the calm was broken. A single pulse fired from Earth's orbital station tore through the lead Council ship's shields, sending sparks of energy scattering across its hull. The fleet reeled in surprise as, one by one, the satellites opened fire. Beams of light cut through the darkness, disabling weapons, destroying engines, and breaking the formation of the Council's armada. The Council commanders scrambled to understand the attack. Their weapons, crafted from centuries of galactic knowledge, were being overwhelmed by what they believed to be a primitive world's defenses. Panic spread quickly through the fleet. A Council scout ship managed to escape the battle, fleeing faster than any had before, and sent a desperate message to their leaders: "Earth is ready." They were waiting. The transmission sent shockwaves through the Council's halls. Back on Earth, the general watched the stars with calm determination. "This is only the beginning," he said. Meanwhile, across the solar system, hidden warships moved silently into position. Mars, once thought a barren wasteland, now held vast underground bunkers and launch bays. From there, sleek vessels cloaked in shadows prepared to join the fight. On Europa, beneath the thick ice, mechanical guardians stirred to life, ready to defend their home. As the Council's fleet retreated, wounded and confused, Earth's warships moved forward. Without warning, they struck at Council supply lines, disabling communication satellites and cutting off reinforcements. The humans did not celebrate their victories loudly. They fought with quiet precision, as if playing a careful game only they understood. The Council grew desperate. More ships arrived, larger and more heavily armed, determined to crush Earth's resistance before it grew stronger. Yet each attack was met with the same silent force human defenses that seemed to anticipate every move, countering before weapons could even fire. Council commanders whispered in fear, wondering how Earth had prepared so well without a single sign. They questioned spies who had returned, those rare few who escaped, and all told the same story. Humans did not fight with rage or anger, but with patience and calculation. Their weapons were strange, combining technology the Council had never seen. Invisible shields that absorbed blasts, drones that repaired ships mid-battle, and weapons that struck without warning from far beyond normal range. Even their soldiers, seen briefly through reconnaissance, were unlike any other species, calm, focused, and able to endure injuries that would incapacitate others. Earth's silence had become a powerful weapon. The galaxy was watching, and the news spread quickly. The Council's mighty fleet had been repelled by a planet they had dismissed as weak. Some alien leaders began to doubt the wisdom of war with Earth. Others, however, prepared new strategies. The battle for Earth had only just begun. Deep inside the command center, the general turned to his team. "We expected them to come with fire and fury," he said, "but we will respond with silence and strength. Let the galaxy see what it means to be prepared." Outside, a distant hum filled the room, a sound of engines powering up beyond Pluto's orbit. The hidden human warship stirred again, no longer waiting, ready to join the silent fight. The Council's war had awakened something they did not understand, a quiet force that would change the course of the galaxy forever. The battle in the outer solar system had barely begun, yet the Galactic Council's pride was already cracked, their confidence shaken by Earth's silent but fierce defense. The Council's warships, once symbols of unstoppable power, now limped back to regroup, their crews whispering rumors of strange weapons and unbreakable shields that defied logic. Meanwhile, on Earth, the war was far from chaotic explosions or loud declarations. It was a game of silence, a quiet dance where every move was carefully planned and every counterstrike was precise. In the depths of Earth's secret command centers, strategists watched holographic maps that flickered with real-time movements of enemy and friendly forces. Unlike the Council's commanders who rushed headlong into battle, Earth's leaders chose patience and observation. They understood the galaxy's arrogance and used it against their enemies, turning the Council's overconfidence into weakness. Small human teams, invisible and swift, infiltrated key Council outposts. They did not attack with guns blazing but with tactics that confused and dismantled. One mission disabled an entire fleet's communication network by hacking systems no one thought could be broken, leaving the Council ships blind and directionless. Another team placed strange devices that sent false signals, making Council ships turn on each other in confusion. These were not random acts of war, but moves in a larger, silent game. The general who led Earth's forces believed in the power of intelligence and control. He rarely spoke loudly, but when he did, his words carried weight. "We do not need to shout to be heard." On the surface, humanity's everyday life went on untouched by war. People in cities, towns, and villages remained unaware of the great conflict unfolding above and beyond their skies. The world seemed peaceful, almost naive, while behind the scenes, Earth's forces played a deadly game against a galaxy that underestimated them. In the Council's war rooms, frustration grew. They could not understand how Earth fought so differently. Their war was brutal and loud, full of grand gestures and overwhelming force. Earth's war was silent, patient, and cunning, a game where every piece moved carefully, and the final checkmate was always hidden. A young Council captain, recently returned from the front lines, described the humans in whispers. "They watch. They wait. They do not charge blindly. Their strikes are surgical, leaving no room for counterattack. It is like playing chess with a master who never shows his strategy." Back on Earth, scientists worked tirelessly, improving technologies that seemed impossible even to the galaxy's greatest minds. They developed new shields that absorbed energy and redirected it, making their ships nearly invincible. Engineers created drones that repaired ships faster than damage could be done. And soldiers trained not just to fight, but to disappear, to blend with shadows and strike before enemies knew they were under attack. The general smiled quietly when reports came in from his commanders. "They believe they face a simple enemy," he said. "But we are a puzzle no one has solved." Even Earth's human warship beyond Pluto prepared for the next stage of the game. Its crew worked silently, checking systems, running drills, and preparing for the moment when they would no longer hide but take the fight deeper into enemy space. The ship was more than a war machine. It was a symbol of humanity's resolve, a ghost waiting to change the galaxy's fate. Meanwhile, the Council scrambled to adapt. They sent spies and diplomats, hoping to learn Earth's secrets or negotiate a peace they knew was unlikely. But Earth's response was the same quiet refusal. No talks, no. Fear. The Council grew paranoid, their leaders divided between those who wanted peace and those who demanded total destruction. The tension within their ranks mirrored the tension in the galaxy. Every system watched Earth, waiting to see if the small planet would crack under pressure or show the strength that so many now feared. And Earth continued its quiet game, knowing that the greatest power was patience. The human general often stood alone on the observation deck of the command center, looking out at the stars and the distant council fleets. "We do not need to fight with noise," he whispered. "We fight with silence, with waiting, with knowing. The galaxy will learn that silence can be the loudest sound." With every passing day, Earth's strategy became clearer: outsmart, outlast, and outplay the Council. The war was not just a battle of ships and weapons, it was a battle of minds, where the quietest player held the greatest power. The galaxy watched, waited, and feared the slow, unstoppable rise of a force that refused to be seen or heard until it was too late. In the quiet depths of Earth's most secure research facility, hidden far beneath the surface, a revelation was about to change everything. Scientists and military leaders gathered around a shimmering, three-dimensional projection of data that flickered with strange symbols and glowing lines. For years, humanity had prepared for the war with the Galactic Council, developing technology and strategies that baffled their enemies. But what they discovered now was beyond any expectation, a secret buried deep in Earth's past that explained their strength and gave them an edge no one could have imagined. The lead scientist, a woman with sharp eyes and steady hands, explained the findings in a voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid the truth might escape. "This technology, this power, is not just human-made. It comes from something ancient, something older than recorded history." The room fell silent, every ear straining to catch the next words. The data showed traces of energy and design unlike anything created in the last few centuries. It was as if Earth had been visited long ago by a civilization so advanced that their knowledge became part of human DNA and technology hidden beneath layers of time. The military general, who had led the defense with calm and precision, stared at the projection, understanding the weight of the discovery. "This explains the silent strength," he said. "The Council never expected us to have such power because they never knew what lay beneath our history." Outside the walls of the research facility, the war continued, but this revelation changed the game forever. Earth scientists began unlocking more secrets, using the ancient technology to enhance their weapons, shields, and communications. Their ships moved faster, their defenses became stronger, and their strategies grew even more complex. The Council sensed the shift. Their fleets, once confident, now hesitated as new, strange weapons appeared on the battlefield, technology that moved with the speed of thought and energy that bent space itself. Spies from the Council tried desperately to steal the secrets, but Earth's new defenses were almost impossible to breach. The revelation also affected the morale of Earth's people. For the first time, they knew their fight was not just for survival, but for a destiny written in the stars long ago. Across cities and towns, whispers of ancient visitors and hidden legacies spread quietly, inspiring hope and determination. The general took this news with a mix of pride and caution. "We must use this knowledge wisely," he told his commanders. "This power is a gift, but also a responsibility. If we misuse it, the galaxy will suffer." Meanwhile, the Council's leaders grew desperate. Their attempts to strike at Earth's newfound strength were met with failure. Battles that once seemed simple became complex puzzles they could not solve. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were masters of a force the Council feared but could not understand. As Earth prepared for the next phase of the war, the general called a meeting with his closest advisors. "The Council will come at us harder than ever," he warned. "But now we have something they do not knowledge from beyond our time, a history that gives us power they can never take away." The room was filled with determination. They knew the war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity stood on the edge of victory. The final battle was coming, and with the revelation of their ancient legacy, Earth was ready to face the galaxy not just with weapons, but with the strength of their past and the hope for their future. Outside, the stars shimmered quietly, as if watching the silent planet that had awakened from its long sleep, ready to rewrite the history of the universe. The war that had stretched across the galaxy finally reached its turning point as Earth emerged from the shadows of silence into a blazing force that could no longer be ignored or underestimated. After the revelation of the ancient technology hidden deep within humanity's past, Earth's forces had grown stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. The Council, once the unquestioned rulers of many star systems, now found their power crumbling under the weight of Earth's unexpected rise. The general who had led humanity through the quiet games and secret battles now stood ready to lead the final charge toward a new future. Earth's warships, once few and hidden, now moved boldly through space with a confidence born of knowledge and experience. They were faster, better defended, and armed with weapons that bent reality itself. Yet, the most important change was not in their machines, but in their spirit. The people of Earth, once fearful and uncertain, had united behind a common purpose to protect their home and shape the galaxy's destiny. The general gathered his commanders and spoke with quiet intensity. "This is our moment. The Council's walls are crumbling, but they still hold power. We must be swift and sure. We fight not just for Earth, but for a new order where no one is ruled by fear or arrogance." The Council's response was frantic. Their fleets, spread thin and battered, tried to regroup and resist, but the tide had turned. Earth's forces struck with precision, taking control of key systems once thought untouchable. Diplomats sent messages of surrender, but Earth's leaders knew peace could only come from strength, not weakness. Battles raged in the shadows of dying stars, where the faint glow of ancient technology clashed with the desperation of a fading empire. The general's quiet voice was heard across comms, rallying his troops. "Hold the line. Push forward. The new order begins with us." Inside the council chambers, fear turned to panic as their leaders debated their fate. Some called for negotiation, others for total war. But the fractures within their ranks made their decisions slow and weak. Earth's silent patience had taught them the power of unity and strategy lessons the divided council could not learn fast enough. On Earth, the discovery of their ancient legacy had united not just the military, but all people. Scientists, engineers, artists, and leaders worked together to build a future where humanity's strength was more than just weapons, it was in creativity, wisdom, and hope. The general watched the stars from the command center, thinking about how far they had come. The quiet planet that once laughed softly at threats had become the galaxy's greatest force, not through loud conquest, but through careful, patient strength. The final battle came swiftly, a clash of wills and technology that shook the very fabric of space. Earth's forces outmaneuvered and outthought the Council's best, breaking their resistance with relentless determination. When the dust settled, the Council's power was broken, and a new order was born from the ashes. Earth took its place as a leader not of domination, but of balance and respect among the stars. The general addressed the galaxy in a broadcast that echoed across light years. "We fought not for conquest, but for a future where all can live free from fear. Let this new order be one of peace, strength, and respect for every world." Systems that once bowed to the Council's rule now looked to Earth as a beacon of hope and change. The galaxy was no longer ruled by fear or arrogance, but by a force that knew the value of patience, silence, and strength born from ancient wisdom. The war was over, but the story was just beginning. Earth had shown that even the quietest voice could change the universe, and that true power was not in loud cries or overwhelming force, but in the steady, unshakable will to protect and create a better future. As stars twinkled in the vast sky, the silent planet smiled quietly, ready to lead the galaxy into a new era where all beings could find their place in the vast dance of the cosmos.